I've got some videos where you're standing there looking at the tablet, and just if you look down between your ankles, you can see like a pendulum, your balls swinging back and forth.
And they had put such attention and care into the details that it was so realistic that when it was also laying about, and we were always having to walk around that stage. I remember always being like, "Oh shit, I don't want to step on that because oh my god, it's gonna fucking kill Heffernan. It's gonna hurt that guy."
Ooh.
Hey guys, how are we all doing?
Two people.
This is our first, two-way.
Yeah.
Twosome?
You guys want to party or what?
Oh, absolutely.
That's why we're here, 100%.
How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us on the movie podcast. This is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it just so happens that Daniel and I were watching Beerfest like a week before we found out that we were doing this interview, and we were like, oh, wow, it's like meant to be.
How did you two guys, get the title The Movie Podcast?
We had to kill somebody.
Yeah, I don't think people were dumb enough to choose it, right? It's too easy of a name. We're big fans of the word "the," and we're like, let's do this.
And we like movies.
Yeah.
Register.com.
Incredible. Incredible.
I do have a question for you guys. Before we kind of start with this movie, watching Beerfest, the one question that I had was, what is a ZJ?
No. If you have to ask.
You don't look like you can afford it, pal.
Well said.
It is one of those things that is nicely left up to the imagination of the audience, and then when we get approached, by fans, they have their own theories of what it is. So it's become this kind of interactive. Crowd involvement.
Do you have like a favorite
definitions on Urban Dictionary?
I've heard two. I've heard two versions. My favorite two. One is it's a zombie job, like you're doing anything with a zombie, and the other one is a black hand and a white hand
zebra
jerking you off. It looks like a zebra.
Okay. That's good.
Neither of those are
I like
true.
that. I like that. Yeah, in Canada, it'd be like a Z job. Though.
Yeah, a Z job.
Z job here in
yes.
Canada.
Yeah.
Not as catchy sounding. No, congratulations to all of you on making Quasi. We know this has been an idea that you've been kicking around since the first Super Troopers. So what breakthrough did you guys all have that made now the right time to tell the story?
Well, it was a little bit of timing, for us, and it was a little bit of Super Troopers 2. We made Super Troopers 2, and it did very well. Did well for the studio, and so they were kind of like, let's try something else here. And we've been working on Super Troopers 3, but it's not quite ready yet. And so we have this script, and we had this script, and we had a little window between our 2 seasons of Tacoma FD, where we had about 6 or 8 weeks that we could get a movie shot. And so we said, look, this is the window we have. If we want to do a movie, let's do it. And so all that kind of momentum kind of worked together to get this movie, because they're hard to get off the ground, So that was the thing that got it off the ground. And we presented this script to them that we had for many, many years, and people had always, said they were never going to make it, or anybody's going to make it. And then these guys read it, and to our surprise, they're like, "We love this script." And Searchlight Pictures is in the business of period pieces, So they weren't afraid of that, And so all these kind of things coalesced to it happening in this window that happened very quickly.
I love that. And Jay, you've said that you were all friends before any of you had ambition. Is that what kept you guys together after all these years?
Yeah, I mean, we have jokes all the way back from when we were 18. Like, before we were even a comedy group, we have jokes. We have references, So, yeah. I mean, we end up together talking about the script, but we'll also spend, an hour just bullshitting about whatever. So it just veers in and out of friendship and show business.
And in that hour that we're bullshitting, oftentimes we'll start riffing on something stupid, and we're like, fuck, that's the thing we've been, racking our heads on and trying to get for this other scene. Let's pop that in there, and,
Kevin, first of all, our condolences on the crucifixion of your nutsack. Can you walk us through what shooting a scene like that feels like?
Did it hurt? You really did it, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, it's funny because a lot of preparation goes into making that thing, and we made multiple, various nutsacks. Ones that really stretch, ones you could put nails through it, and what you don't realize is like Lemme was saying at one point, you forget that you're going to make these movies when you're writing it, and then ultimately you get out there and you're shooting it and you realize it. And I was directing it, so it was my nutsack. I was directing it. We're on this stage. We've got 100 extras standing in front of you while you're doing it. On top of that, the studio decided that that was the day they were going to visit the set.
Oh, nice.
So the presidents of the studio showed up on that day. And here we are stretching my scrotum across the stage. And it was hysterical. I mean, we looked over at one point, and the president of Searchlight Pictures had the scrotum draped over his shoulder, and he was like taking pictures of it, So it was a very kind of funny day. And, I think there are a lot of pictures of me directing, sitting in the director's chair like this, looking at a thing, trying to make a decision, and then my ball sack hanging down to the ground. I think that those are some of the better pictures.
And not just still photos. I've got some videos where you're standing there looking at the tablet, and just if you look down between your ankles, you can see like a pendulum, your balls swinging back and forth.
They had put such attention and care into the details that it was so realistic that when it was also laying about, and we were always having to walk around that stage. I remember always being like, "Oh shit, I don't want to step on that because oh my god, it's gonna fucking kill Heffernan. It's gonna hurt that guy."
Sure. But those are always the funny meetings too. Like you're meeting with a slew of people. You're meeting like 25 people, and it's like, a little more hair, a little more wrinkle.
Right? How veiny is too vain?
And it's funny. You get very technical about those really silly things.
Were you trying to go true to life with it? Is that what you're trying to do?
Very
Yeah.
vomitously true to life.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Steve, getting to play Quasi, how much input did you have on the design of your character?
The character was based on this guy that I used to work with who spoke out of the side of his mouth. And, he was a lonely guy who complained about his lack of love in his life. And that was really the character from the beginning. That was, we would all riff on this character and how, he was just so lovelorn, and he had his best friend who just kind of like kept around as a sidekick to make himself feel better. That was really all the preparation I needed. And then you threw the hump on my back and bent me over, and it's like, and then smear some crap on my face and mess up my hair. Like that's the character. So it was easy, and it's also fun to play roles like that. Like you can take a big bite of something like that.
Yeah, the more shit gets put on you, it really does make the acting easier. I have a team of 6 people dressing me as the Pope. It becomes very easy to suddenly be this incredibly self-important asshole. It is. It's funny how it makes, as an actor, it makes your job easier.
Yeah, and especially I think like being in a period piece like this as well too. Like this is the first time that you guys have done a film in this setting. What was it about like this era of the world that you wanted to tell a story like at this time?
You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. It's like, we know a lot about that period of time. Not that much of it seems like it was very cool. And so like, fun. Yeah. And it's like a couple of rich, powerful people, and then everybody else are the peasants around them. And it's like, and obviously there's a lot of shitty stuff happening, but like, you could just make up your own rules for something like that.
So true.
And we know you guys.
Like a torture chamber lent itself to a good comedic premise.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like that would be a fun job.
Torture's
right?
always funny, you know.
Yeah, workplace comedy.
Yeah. Now we know you guys get this question.
See, because there are renderings that exist of the kind of shit that people did to each other, and they are so sadistic and horrible that it does kind of like cross over into being funny how unbelievably cruel the things were. So yeah.
Well, and also our torture chamber is research and development. So they're like experimenting with different kinds of things. Like they've got like a rotten egg station over there, which is for like psychological torture. So we could riff on things like that.
Types of torture.
And I know we know this is a question that you guys must get all the time, but will we ever get a Weedfest?
We're discussing with Warner Brothers about whether or not we can make it. It's in discussion. We're hoping to.
They own the
That'd
IP.
be awesome.
Gotcha. Yeah, we'd love to see it happen. We're big fans of you guys. So the more Broken Lizard we get in the world, the better for us. So.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much. Again, can't wait for everyone to watch this movie as well and just have a great time. It's releasing on a great date as well. So we're looking forward to it.
We're 20, baby.
Seems to be our day.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.